Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are zooming in from. As Dr. Saul introduced, my name is Olga Meshoe, Washington, and those that can pick up my accent, I'm not American, even though America is now my home. I'm originally from South Africa, and I have been in the Israel advocacy world for about 10 years, and I'm a passionate advocate for truth, a passionate advocate and believer in righteousness and justice, and that's why I continue to do what I do, and in doing so, I wear multiple hats. One of those hats is as the Chief Operation Officer of Club Z. Club Z is a teen Zionist organization here in the United States that works with Jewish youth to do various things, primarily providing them with education that is nuanced and that is deep, that speaks to who the Jewish people are, their connection to the land of Israel, peoplehood, as well as understanding the Middle East conflict, not only just from 1948, but even pre the establishment of the State of Israel, the rebirth of the State of Israel. We also empower them with skills so that when they have the knowledge that is beyond just talking points, they are able to speak effectively, that they're able to debate, that they're able to engage on social media, so that they can be proud activists for themselves, proud activists for the Jewish communities across the world, and more importantly, for the State of Israel. It is my love for young people that has me at Club Z, as well as the different hats that I wear. Interestingly, also, it's a Jewish prophet. I'm a Christian, but it's a Jewish prophet whose words I hold on to very dearly when he said that from Hashem, that my people perish because of lack of knowledge. And so the opportunity to empower young people with education as well as the skill set to do what they do gives me hope and joy. Before doing that with Club Z, I actually did it in South Africa with South African students there. Many of you that are familiar with the BDS campaign, they use the South African narrative of Israel being an apartheid state, which is an absolute lie, in order to change the hearts and minds of Black South Africans against Israel, even though the majority of them are Zionist at heart. And I'll speak a little bit to that later. In doing that work, and also with what I do with Club Z, Jerusalem Post as well as JNF recognize the work that I do, and together with 25 other visionaries, they called us from across the globe, they included us on a list and were to honor us on October 9. And I share that because that's what had me arrive in Israel on October 7. I recall sitting on a plane and I had taken a nap, and about 30 minutes after waking up, the pilot made an announcement to say, yes, some of you are very concerned about what's going on in Israel. We've been in touch with the dispatchers at Ben Gurion, and for now, the plane's going to land. I woke up and I was like, what do they mean? Why wouldn't we land? I was sitting next to a fellow passenger who also had not been on her phone and so was unfamiliar as to what was happening on the ground. And when we realized that war had broken out, not only did my heart break, but as one can appreciate, it's like, all right, we're in the air, what happens to us now? By Hashem's grace, we were able to land. And interestingly enough, on landing, I connected with Russell because he and I had connected just before taking off. He was coming to Israel for the ceremony and also to do other work. And in connecting with him on the ground, he, together with Marcy, literally as if I was one of their children, took me under their wing. I was supposed to go to Jerusalem, but that wasn't going to be safe. And so they took care of me for the next couple of days. I came in a few moments after the last speaker spoke, but I want to echo his words with regards to JNF being more than just a family. And even though I'm part of the JNF community by way of the Speakers Bureau, I have experienced the JNF love in an incredible way. And I want to not only thank Dr. Saul as well as Russell and the leadership of JNF just for the humanity that you give, not only to your own, but to fellow Zionists and everybody and anybody that's in need. I have seen this in multiple ways. And just really want to thank and applaud you. So land in Israel, now with the JNF team, and I had the wonderful opportunity to spend 2 days at Alexander Mas and to get my hands, don't want to say dirty, but to get my hands involved with regards to helping out where I can. Some of what I was able to do and the lessons that I learned are as follows. First of all, I was able to speak to some of the teens that were at the school. As you can appreciate, they are majority from America, and they're concerned about, are they going to be able to get home safely? But what was inspiring to not only hear back from them and hopefully reflect back to them was here they were as proud young young people reconnecting with their ancestral homeland. And for me to be able to give them hope, give them encouragement was wonderful, both on a great note, but also I'll say on a sad note. During our Q&A, one of them raised their hands and said, well, you as a Black South African, I would think that you would actually not want to talk to us, that you would actually not want to say that Israel has a right to exist and that there are people around the world who love and support us. And I say that it's sad because unfortunately that is the narrative from some, and I promise I'm going to close that loop soon. But it was inspiring for them to see that I represent a very real community, a very real generation that is not only proud to call ourselves Zionists, that is not only proud to call ourselves friends of Israel and friends of organizations such as JNF, but we inherently will do our best to speak up, to stand up, and as well as to defend. And so I was able to do that on the one day. The second day I was able to help with the packing of those, if I'm not mistaken, about 1,400 bags of supplies, of necessities that JNF was able to get out to places in need. As a leader myself, one of the things that I was looking at was how Russell, together with the leaders around him, were able to create a command center and immediately dispatch help where it was needed, to be able to give instructions, to be able to utilize the infrastructure that JNF has on the ground was an incredible thing for me to both observe and watch and also learn for my future journey. For those that are new to JNF and are considering to either continue to start giving to JNF or even to increase your giving to JNF, I do want to say that from what I saw, your money is in good hands. I was so impressed with the ability just to say, all right, let's go. This is what we've had. This is what we've been able to do. How do we have meaningful impact pretty much immediately and in a way that is impactful? So I was able to do that. And maybe let me close by saying this. In South Africa, and it's not only a South African concept, but it's an African concept, there is the notion of Ubuntu, spelled U-B-U-N-T-U, Ubuntu. And it means, and I'm paraphrasing it in English, I am because you are, we are because you are. And what that means is that there is a connection from a humanity perspective that allows us to exist. I cannot exist on my own if others around me are not existing, if others around me are not existing well. And in that notion, I want to let you know that there are Africans like myself who not only feel your pain, who are not only hurting with you, who are not only crying with you at the atrocities that were committed several days ago, but who are on their knees praying for peace, who are on their knees praying for healing, who are available and wanting to give and to help, who are advocating for Israel to defend herself and do whatever she needs to do in order to do so. So yes, there are voices that are out there on social media and even governments that have pledged solidarity with not allowing Israel to take care of her own, but please be assured, and I represent them, that we are working hard to ensure that there are increasing voices across the African continent and even in relation to Africans in the diaspora that love you, that appreciate you, and that are here for you and that are going to be by your side for years as well as generations to come.